9-9, division of decimals. I want to introduce division of decimals by whole numbers and to reinforce traditional method division. So look at these problems. Let's try to round them or estimate them and come up with an answer. So 60 divided by 3. Well, I know 6 can be divided by 3 easily. So I'm going to leave that one as 60 divided by 3. 60 divided by 3 is 2. And then a 0 for a 2-digit answer of 20. 37 divided by 2. I would round 37 up to 40 and divide it by 2. 40 divided by 2 is 4 divided by 2 is 2. And the 0 makes 20. 60 divided by 4. Well, I know 60 divided by 2 is 30. And then to cut it in half again would be half of 30, which is 15. They did 60 divided by 5. They rounded up to come up with 12. 86 divided by 3. I'd round 86 up to 90. 90 divided by 3 is 3 goes into 9 3 times, and that 0 makes 30. 135 divided by 7. Well, I'd round that up to 140 because I know 7 will go into 14 twice, and then my 0 will come up with 20. 344 divided by 5. I would probably round that one up to 350 because 5 will go into 35 7 times, and then I'll have a 0 left for 70. 621. I would probably round that one also up to probably 640 because I know 8 times 8 is 64, so my answer would be 80, and that's exactly what they did. 459 divided by 9. I would probably round that up to 500 divided by 10, which would give me 50, and that's exactly what they did. 731 divided by 99. Well, again, I would probably round 731 down to 700 to make my division easier, and round my 99 up to 100, so 700 divided by 100 is 7. 419 divided by 51. I would write 419. I'd round it down to 400, and I would round 51 down to 50 because I know 5 times 8 is 40, and my answer would just be 8. 555 divided by 62. Well, I'd round up 555 to 600, and I'd do 62 to 60 because 600 divided by 60 is 10. Now they rounded it 540 to 60 was 9. And the next one, 1,946 divided by 204. Well, I'd round that up to 2,000, and I would round that down 204 to 200, and 1,000 divided by 200. 2,000 divided by 200 is 10. As you did with multiplication of decimals, you will use your imagination to place the decimal points in the answers to problems involving divisions of decimals. So look at the problems that are written here. There's a 4-digit quotient shown for each problem, but I'm not including the decimal point in the quotient, which is the answer. For each problem, it shows the solution, but the decimal point is missing in the quotient. You need to decide where each decimal point should go by estimating the quotient. Alright, so let's look at this one, the first one here, down below. And that's this one right here. Initially, they gave you the answer of 1350. Well, if I'm dividing and I only have 40 and a half, 40.5 to begin with, and I'm dividing that into 3 groups, I know that 3 roughly goes into 40. I'm going to say 10 times. We know it goes more, but it's close to 10. So it wouldn't make sense to put my decimal here for 1,350. It wouldn't make sense to put my decimal here at 135. What makes the best sense is to put it here for 13.5. That is the number that will get me closest to my 10 that I estimated. Again, I'm starting out with 150, and I'm dividing it into 4 groups. Well, it would be easier for me if I rounded this to 160, which I know then 4 times 4 is 16, so my answer would be 40. So again, I wouldn't place my decimal point here because that's 3,772. I wouldn't place it here because that is 377. What makes the best sense is for me to place it here because 37 is closest to 40. Now as I look at the next problem, again I only have 2.5 and I'm dividing it into 6 groups. Wow. Well, I know here would make sense. 4,200 when I only started out with 2 wholes and 52 hundredths. It wouldn't make sense either here for 420, not here at 42, not even here at 4.2. I only started out with 2.52 to begin with. The best place for my answer that makes the best sense is to put it first for 42.42. And in my last one, the same thing. I only have 1 whole and 54 hundredths. So if I'm dividing that into 7 groups, my decimal point would go here at the beginning for 0.2200 in order for it to make sense. So let's look at these next problems. There are at least 30 hours in 150. So 30 times 4 equals 120. There are not 40 4s in 150. 40 times 4 equals 160. So the quotient must be between 30 and 40. So 37.72 is the answer. Again, the next one, I'm just reviewing these. 2.52, or 2 52 hundredths, divided by 6 is about 3 divided by 6, which is half, or 0.5. So the only possible quotient is 0.4200. All the other possible answers are all greater than 1. Again, I'm just reviewing these, so hopefully it starts to make clearer sense for you. So dividing decimal practice. You need to complete journals pages 270 and 271. Remember, try to explain the strategies you use to place the decimals in the positions you put them in. First do 270. Make sure that you're following all instructions, you're doing your work, and then go up and check it in the answer key. The second one, page 271, same thing. Remember to use your grid below. Make sure on 9, 10, 11, and 12, what you're doing there is you're first coming up with a number model to estimate it, and then you're going to actually, in the other spots, come up with the real answer to the problem. Remember, double check so it makes sense before you correct it. Then you go into your student journal to page 272. Go ahead and work on those problems. Remember, of means multiply, so you're going to do 10%, which is actually 0.10 times 90 of multiply 90. And your first one, well, we know it would be 10% of 90 would be 9. Go ahead and finish the rest of the page. Remember, if you need a little assistance, you can go into your SRB. And finally, the study link for 9-9 is again getting you some extra practice using division and decimal points. So correctly place the decimal point in the answer, first by estimating and then knowing where it should go. In the bottom, try this. You're actually dividing it and coming out with an exact answer.